Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited because this is the first episode of 2021 and I couldn't be more excited. You have no idea how excited I was that Scarlet Ravin, who I'm going to be talking with in this episode, she reached out to me just about a week or two ago. You have no idea how excited I am that this all came together the way it did, truly led by the magic of the universe, by the goddess, by our souls, just pure magic. And it's so time, it's in rhythm with everything that's going on. And so I want to inform you before we move on into the conversation, the amazing, juicy, inspiring, fun conversation with Scarlet Ravin. So first off, I want to let you know about this amazing soul, Scarlet, right? Of course, we resonated on so many levels. She's very aware that she is a galactic citizen, a starseed as well. If you know me, you know that I came into remembering as well, okay? And she has many offerings. She has so many offerings to aid others in their evolution as well. She has workshops, she's published a book or maybe more. She's got a website, and one of the most exciting things among many other exciting things is that she has plant medicine that she offers. She has a CBD line, a CBD vape line, and I want to say also something that has to do with psilocybin. So everything's going to be provided within the podcast episode, right? No matter what platform you are listening or watching, okay? There will be links, there will be info below. The other great thing, which I got really excited because this is up my alley as well, I can tell that she is also a communicator. She's encoded with this energy like I am, to communicate, to deliver messages, to channel messages, but also to communicate with plant spirits, which is it warms my heart so much because obviously, right, 𝘗𝘃 was birthed from my time with Mother Ayahuasca and communing with the spirits, with the plant teachers, with my guides, into bringing 𝘗𝘃 into fruition, among many other things, right? So before we hop into the conversation, I want to let you know that there are some things that are very important, and this is why it's so amazing that everything got aligned the way it did. And this is at a higher level, that it's just, we perceive it as magic, and on a higher level and in a deeper knowing, I know it's our higher selves that have been orchestrating this, And so before this episode, last year, the last two episodes, I had an episode specifically for the masculine collective about Mars retrograde. Mars went retrograde last year for quite a while, and it was a doozy. And I encourage you to listen to that podcast episode. It is very informative and will help you understand what the masculine collective was moving through, what they were moving through, and also what women, okay, female incarnate, what they may have been experiencing if they have distorted, dysfunctional masculine energy, okay? So there's that. And then the next episode was for the feminine collective, because Mars going retrograde affected us as well, right? If you had imbalanced masculine energy, but also if you were in partnership or are in partnership with someone who was affected by Mars retrograde. And it's possible that you were feeling things at a collective level, even if you're not in a partnership with anybody. So this next episode that was for the female collective, that was the last episode of last year, okay? I also encourage you to watch and listen when you can, so it'll help you understand what we're talking about now in this episode, which is purely divine. I had no idea that she and I would end up talking about what we were. When she contacted me, she just wanted to be on the show because she felt this calling, this pull so strong to me, and I felt it too. And once we got to talking, this, you know what I mean, this blossomed, and you'll know what I mean once you dive into this current episode. So I'm so excited to present to you today Scarlet Ravin from Naked Starseed and White Fox Medicinals. I pray that this blesses you, it touches you, inspires you, and helps you to remember you are not alone, and to embody what is coming through for you. Enjoy. Namaste. Hi.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
Wow, I love looking at your face.
Isn't that weird? That's like exactly what I was thinking about you. I was literally, I was like, wait, what time is it? Do I need to hop back on Instagram? I didn't notice you wrote me on Instagram, but you wrote me from White Fox, and I messaged you last night on your Naked Starseed. And I was like, I'm so excited. Great, something. And I put a heart, and then I was like, okay, good night. And I went to bed, and I was like, man, I thought our thing was at 11. So I was like, where is she at? Maybe I need to check the email. And when I got on Instagram, you were like 9:30. I was like, 9:30. I was like, shit, she's on that and not on that. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm a spaz.
That's all. There's so many different like channels right now that it's a lot.
As in like platforms and stuff?
Yeah, like of connecting with people and where we're messaging. And some people, like I'm like you, I try and minimize my Instagram time. So I'd rather do email connecting because that's more consistent for me than, but some people, you know, just is what it is, I guess.
Well, I thought maybe because, you know, I was trying to just keep it like minimal, but I could tell every time I wrote you, I was like, man, I'm so excited. And I just kept like writing, man, I gotta save something for when we talk, you know. But it was just, and then I was like, maybe I'm just overwhelming her. And then I went over there to look at all your stuff, and I was like, and I'll just write her there. And then it was, I don't get notifications, by the way, on Instagram for that exact reason though, like being overwhelmed, and I don't want to get sucked back into it, and it can be a rabbit hole, and you'll be there for hours, and then you haven't done shit. So
yeah.
So I was like, I don't have Facebook and Instagram notifications on for that purpose, for my peace of mind, because I can be like a squirrel in place. And I'm letting my energy settle, because I woke up early and I was like, I'm gonna get everything right.
Yeah.
And oh, it was so every time I do connect to you, it's so nice. And then I get excited, and then I was like all chill, and I'm like, I'm gonna be so chill. And then the closer I was like, I'm excited, I'm nervous.
I'm excited too. It's gonna be so fun.
Like, I'm sure you get this compliment a lot. Like, you've got really pretty eyes.
Thank you. I do. It's been a while, so thank you very much. But
like your features are so uncanny. Like, you remind me of someone that I know, and she's from Mexico, but her and her family found out that they had like connections, like they basically like somewhere along their line they were Jewish. It's just like your eyes, the color of your eyes, and like the nose and everything, like even you're like almost like her, but not like her. It's
my doppelganger.
kind of not. No, but it's just like, even it's just, I don't know if that's your natural color of hair though.
Yeah, this is natural. I actually bleached it blonde for almost 20 years, which is crazy because I have this like gorgeous auburn red, but red curly hair in high school is pretty intense. So for me, I was challenged with it. Now I love it.
That's what happens though. And I love that you're really like mine.
Yeah.
Well, how are you? And welcome to my show, by the way.
I am so good, girl. I have been buzzing because I had this like, I live by just following my internal sparks of excitement. And I had this excitement to create a Patreon channel, and I didn't know anything about it. So I created the channel, and I was like, oh, I'll share unique content here that I won't share anywhere else. And then I went to sleep, and I had this vision dream of like, no, you're actually going to build a mystery school, and that's going to be your platform. And here is the structure. And I had this whole download. So I woke up so excited. And I was like, okay, redo the about page, get the actual content out there, tell people what it's really going to be about. And then since I did that, I feel so much energy moving through me that I've never felt before. I think part of me must have unblocked something, you know, like I think this is something I had this idea over a year ago and I never actually moved on it. And I think it's been building. And because I'm actually doing it now, it's like, there's this floodgate going through my systems and I feel so electrified. And I haven't started the school because the platform just launched yesterday. So I'm going to give it a week for people to sign up. And then I'll start doing each individual Stargate for them. And then every day I'll be sharing other multidimensional living tips. But I think this is going to be a lot bigger than I even understand. And like every day that passes, I'm like, holy moly, like what is moving through me? And I'm obviously here to do this. And I am also blown away by this.
You're blowing me away. And it's actually making me feel really good. Like, so like I said, I got on Instagram because I didn't hear from you, saw your message. And I was like, oh, you know how it like shows the whatever that your profile photo's got the ring. So I'm like, okay, she put a story. Let me see, you know. So go and check in and I hear you talking about that. I'm like, what's that? Like, what's going on? And it made me so happy because I've been talking about this for so long with people, but like, then I get blank stares. Since like 2013, I'm like, yo, we need schools. Like we need more schools.
Yeah.
And then after 2000, well, actually in 2012, I was working in a public school. So, I mean, obviously we've gone to public school or maybe not, I don't know. And then I worked in one and it's just, I mean, really, you know what I mean? Like I could say,
yes, totally.
About it. It's so outdated. It's just so outdated and it's just constant programming and it's horrible. The people there's some people there that they're like beacons of light, and then you have some who are just, they hate their job and they're horrible.
Yeah.
And that's just besides the point. That's just, you know, programming from however long ago, and it's just, it doesn't work. And like where we're at now, I'm like, oh my God, can we please be teaching our children like the truth? Can we be like helping them? I wish somebody was there for me to say, hey, I noticed, you know, that you're clairvoyant. Let me show you, you know, I wish someone had done that for me.
Yeah.
Can we do that for the youth? Like, I have no idea what your school is going to be like, but just the fact that it's a school, I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's like I have a university, it's there, but I'm like, there's a course that's going to be coming out. So that's been like brewing in the back for a lot, like what you're saying. And I know that energy you're talking about, that when I told you last week, you sent me that video and then I was like, oh, sex, oh girl, sexual energy, like I was like, holy fuck, like, and we'll get into that because it's like ever since then it's like everything that I've been sowing like seeds, and I imagine this has to relate to you. It's got to relate to you in some way too. I mean, because we're here now, and it's like certain seeds, even if you didn't understand it then, or maybe just like you said, just a little idea that you didn't really follow through with then. It's like, it's just, oh my God, I can't even put words on it because there's so much happening really fast and it's constant. I'm like looking outside because it happens a lot. Like I'll step outside and I'm like watching nature and then I'm like, oh my God. And then I told you Navratri is today, and then like the new one, I'm like, oh my God, it's like constant downloads going on that I can be really weird and not verbalize everything, but I know, you know what I mean? Like,
I totally know what you mean, girl.
Okay. I'm like, oh God.
It's almost easier if someone asks you like a very specific question, because you can answer any specific question, but to share the vastness of what's actually going on, it's kind of like, well, tell me which part you want to know about, because there's a lot.
Yeah, just, yeah, my God, yeah. Like I was hoping it was like, oh, and when I start this with her, we'll start it like this and then we'll go here. But it's like already I can like feel the energy is just, it's vast. It's really vast. So I don't even know where to start with you. I did want to ask if like we could literally take 5 to 10 seconds to take deep breaths together, if that's not weird to you.
I would love that.
Okay, good. So we can like together, because I did it before this, but it's like I knew I would get excited. I was like, oh my God, I'm excited to see her face. Like I felt like I knew you already. And when I saw you pop up, I was like, holy shit, she's real.
Yeah. Yeah, I felt the same way. I shaved in the shower. I was like, I'm gonna get all ready. I'm gonna like put makeup on and get my outfit on. Yeah, I shaved for you.
I'm so used to doing this podcast. Oh, that's the other thing, Scarlett. Like this is gonna be my first visual audio podcast episode on She.
Wow.
Yeah, so ta-da, everyone, Scarlet Ravin.
That's exciting for me.
I thought it was exciting. I mean, it's because it's my love child, and so I'm not used to getting ready for it. And then I was like, oh, it's Scarlett, and we're going to be talking about some juicy stuff. I needed too much.
Yeah,
because I'm the type of roll out of bed and it's curly, so you'd be like,
yeah, it looks good. Yeah.
My little Benty on, and girl's looking right.
All right, I'm ready to breathe.
Yeah, let's breathe for sure. Oh, here comes my big pit bull, just FYI. Okay. So sorry. Hey, buddy. I meant it. I was like, I need to give her a disclaimer on that. So hold on. I'm going to put him in.
That felt good.
To hear him bark really loud?
Well, all of it.
He's a good boy in general, but he loves to bark at stuff. He's very protective. And so I was kind of worried about that because his bark is loud. It's very clearing though. Like I have noticed that, like if I'm channeling sound and stuff, if I'm like tuning into someone and there's like some really but he's my guy. Like when I do healing and stuff, I know that he's picking up on stuff, and it's amazing because like I'll see something, like I'll see an entity or something and he'll bark, and it's like it helps disperse it. I love my baby.
Animals are so incredible.
I'll let him be there. But if it gets too much, we'll move him again. Okay. Yeah, because he's usually with me, and I know he just gets downloads and stuff too. But yeah, okay. Kind of interrupted me. I was like, "Ooh, this is starting to feel good," and then he first he farted, and then he barked. He farted, and I looked over like, "Really, man?"
He's like, "I'm just blessing the space, just blessing the space." I have a lot. I have horses and cats and chickens and.
No way.
Yeah.
Horses are like with you, or are they at a stable and you go to the stable, or how does that work?
No, we live together.
What? Okay, so where do you live? I don't even know.
I'm actually I'm in transition right now. So I was living in Northern California up until middle of October. And then I'm moved back here because I grew up here and my parents live here and my siblings live here.
Where's
where's here? They're in brother, sister in Denver, Colorado. My parents are in Castle Rock. I don't go anywhere near cities. So I'm out in Elizabeth, which is like eastern Colorado farm country. I'm about an hour from my parents in Castle Rock. But I was kind of chilling out here, waiting for my house to sell, and then it sold. And now I'm shopping for my next property. So I found this Airbnb that is a horse ranch. And she's like, you can bring your horses and your cats and your chickens and I'll rent you pastures and chicken coop. And I was like, manifestation magic. So I'm living in a mother-in-law suite in someone's house. So I have my own everything. And then my horses are in the pasture on the property and my chickens are in the chicken coop. And then I got 3 kitties in the living space with me.
I love it.
It's incredibly challenging to move when that is your life. I got to tell you, like, it took me 5 months to recover from the uprooting. And I just got the energy to actually think of getting a new property. So I'm excited because it's in alignment with the mystery school and wanting to build a multi-dimensional retreat property for people to come and farm and talk to the horses, you know?
Keep it. You're like, yes, dude. Oh my God. Like, I've been talking nonstop about, like, this is exciting that I actually know someone who wants to do this and is going to do this, because I mean, I told myself, I was like, I have no idea. First of all, I have to backtrack. I have no idea where this is going, our coming togetherness. You know, like, I don't want to just assume, but I also don't want to limit myself, right? But I was like, oh my God, I love that we connected. It's like, I'm so excited. I want to know, what is this? But I can feel, I don't know how it feels for you, but I can feel like we planned this along, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was meditating on you the first time, before I emailed you back, I had heard that we planned this was always going to be. So it's so cool. I mean, I guess everything, you know, whatever. But yeah, so, you know, when you hear that, it's like, oh, that's exciting. And that was, I was like, that must be why I'm really excited. Like, it's when I look in your eyes, as you know what I mean. So yeah, so there's that. But then I was like, I don't want to assume anything, but it's great because you're doing some things that I have been, those are other seeds too that I've been like sowing for so long, that I've been talking about for so long. And my goal is to have land. You know, I want land, and I want a healing retreat too. I don't know exactly what the school will look like. Starting virtual is great because virtual can reach anybody. So I don't know if like that's how your school will remain, or if you're going to have a school on your land too. But like this is what the planet needs, you know?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I really do foresee the earth being covered in mystery schools. Like in the next 20 years, I think by the end of the 20-year chapter, it will only be mystery schools. And the matrix just crumbled. So we're going to see a few years of debris settlement. And then while the debris is settling, you know, if people are too distracted by that noise, they won't use their power to create the new world. But if we can control our focus and say, that's just debris of the old world crashing, I'm going to build the new world so it's ready when people are ready to stop looking at the debris of the old world. And then they have something to step into. I love having an online teaching platform because, like what you said, we can reach anyone anywhere in the world. And how powerful is that? I feel like the most profound learning will occur when they come to the property. And it won't, like, at that point, I'll be teaching silently. Like, they'll be living on the land and watching how to live multidimensionally. They'll have access to advanced healing technologies that we bring onto the property. They'll see how we interact with the land and the animals, and they'll be able to know through witnessing that it's like, it's actually nothing special. We've been devolving for a long time with people brainwashed into thinking that we're evolving, and it's just not true. You know, moving slow is evolving. Living in harmony with the land outside of a city is evolving. Like, people in the cities, they can tend to look at country folk and be like, oh, they're just backwoods country folk. No, honey, they're in sync with the sun and the rhythm of the planet. And they are in sync with things that feed the soul in a different way than the materialism of the city fascinates you. So like, for me, it's about going back to that soul sustenance, and it's already out there. It's not special. Like, what I want to show people is like, dude, just go sit by a tree. If you have to do it for a week to reset your nervous system because you've been city living, then do it for a week. But remember your connection to nature, and then that will be this string that you can just pull on and follow back to self. You know, we don't need teachers or gurus or any of that stuff. We need nature, and we need the ability to focus and witness.
Dude, I can't stress nature enough. Like, I'm over here just like, because I mean, there's just so many times I've just had so many like ups and downs, like moving through my own activations and remembrance, you know. And I remember coming back from Philadelphia. Jesus Christ, I don't ever want to go there again. I don't want to live there again. I don't care if someone tells me that Philly is awesome. I saw a horrible part of the city. It was so hard for me living there. Oh my God. And when I moved back to Jeffersonville, Indiana, it's a tiny place in southern Indiana, I was just like, I've never felt so happy to be back. I never liked being there, but I was so happy to be there rather than back in that city. And there was just so much that transpired there. And I was like really deep in activism and stuff. And it just wasn't working for me. I was like, I felt like my soul was dying, because I started to realize I didn't have like any nature around me. I didn't even have a single plant in my home. Someone got me a plant, put it by my bed so I could see it every day when I woke up. And I was just like, I can't do this. And so I just started going back into nature, like lived right by this park. So I would just walk there every day. And then when it got warm, walk there barefooted. So I could just get all that yummy earth energy and just go into the woods and stay there for hours, and then just come back like buzzing and with tons of messages and so much insight and stuff. And it was crazy, because it's like, gosh, I would say February until like, it didn't take long. It maybe 2 months in, even a month in, I was already feeling so grounded. Like the confusion and crap I felt from being up there and so out of alignment, gone. Well, I also paired it with detoxing my body, getting back to eating really good, and getting more into communicating with crystals, like really sitting with them, ones that called me, and really asking for my guides to step forward, because I was like, look, I'm done pretending that I'm here and that I can't see. I'm tired of being afraid of this, so just bring it on. You know, I've already seen some scary shit, so if there's scary shit, there's got to be amazing shit. Let's go. So then I'd go sit out in nature, and you know what I mean? You're speaking truth, because it's when people do ask me, well, how did you get so in sync again? And this, I'm like, I went in nature almost every day. Like, Mama Earth will get you right. Like, she will. It's like everything. And oh my God. And it just, so much can unfold, and it all started from that. So I always, if I'm ever like feeling funky, confused, if I kind of like lose my way, I'm like, I gotta go outside. I need to step outside. I need to go to a park. I need to go by a tree. I need something. And speaking of moving, like, after us living in a few not so great places, I was like, no, when we look for places, we need to have some kind of nature, some kind of backyard with something, because I will go nuts. I no, it's just not happening. And Wolfgang needs a yard too, so there's that.
when I started house shopping, the real estate agent was like, what are your requirements? And I was like, well, I don't want to see other houses. So like wherever there's a house where you can't see other houses, that's what I want. And she was like, okay.
So are you looking for places in Colorado?
Yeah, I want to stay close to my parents. My mom is like my best friend, and she's
so sweet.
My dad is incredible, and we do weekly movie nights, and they're badass people. Like just evolved, kind, extremely loving, badass people and friends. So I want to be close to them and get a lot of time in with them. And I am loving, for the first time, I never felt like Colorado was my home, but somehow going to California and then coming back, I realized it is my home and that my heart is connected to the land here. So I'm grateful to be able to see that. I used to have this saying of like, no, I don't resonate with Colorado. I resonate with California. And then after 7 years in California, I felt like oil and water with that state. Like every cell of my being was disgusted to that level of disdain, just totally disgusted with almost everything about it.
Tell me where, you said Northern California, but where? Like
I was in a town called Forestville, which is like half hour from the coast, about 15 minutes from Santa Rosa. Santa Rosa was the biggest town close to us. It's about an hour and a half north of San Francisco, more coastal, kind of by the redwoods. Basically in the center of fire country. So the past 4 years, I was evacuated every single year. My horse was evacuated every single year. We were huffing thick smoke filled with poisonous particles 2 months every single year. My house got flooded 1 year, 9 feet underwater. And then I got fire evacuated 6 months later during the rebuild. And then when COVID hit, like, the Matrix really focused on the coast to pump fear into brainwashing people. And so California got so saturated by this fear mentality, and my community believed, bought into the fear, followed the programming. And so not only was I unhappy with I'm so sensitive. It takes me like 4 to 5 months to get out of the state of PTSD from fire evacuations. So it was like 2 months of being in the trauma, and then 4 to 5 months of getting my nervous system back. And then I'd have a few months of being myself, and then the fires would hit again. So I was in this cycle of like, this isn't living. I'm not happy. And I'm a mom to horses that live outside, and I'm not providing them with even clean air to breathe. Like, what kind of fucking mom am I? That's not a good mom. So I couldn't be there. And selling the house, and at the time I was in a partnership. So I was letting myself be dragged back by him not wanting to make a decision to move. I thought maybe I'll be more gentle and give him more time. So that extended my stay a little bit. But in the end, I left him. I left the house. I was told the realtor, sell it. I don't want any ties to the state. I don't want any ties to all of these beings that are allowing themselves to be completely artificially controlled by a program and not think for themselves, you know? Yeah. And so I came out here, and I didn't wear a mask since I left. No one harasses you in Colorado, out in the country. In fact, if you wear a mask out in the country, people look at you weird, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why do you have a diaper on your face? Are you sick? Are you sick?
Is that in regard to, I mean, obviously, I guess, you know, even out and about, like, do you mean at the stores and things like that too?
Everything.
Oh, that's
yeah. No one is wearing masks. My massage therapist doesn't wear a mask. I mean, people that understand health and wellness, if you're huffing your own CO2, you're going to get a bacterial lung infection. And that's a scientifically peer-reviewed paper that you can read. And then if you go into scientifically peer-reviewed paperwork on how masks protect you from viruses, there are zero. So I'm just like, when someone tells
research, like
you could just know,
literally feel your brain. The first few times I had to put it on to go in the grocery store, fucking immediately, like 2 minutes later, I was angry. I could feel anger and irritability. And I'm like, this isn't right. Like, it's doing something to my brain. It's blocking oxygen. I don't feel right. Like, it's just listen to your body. Listen to your body.
like,
yeah.
So, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. I mean, you can't tell a farmer to not breathe fresh air. They'll be like, hey, been doing this for hundreds of years. I'm not like I'll get a virus. I don't care if I get a virus. 99.8% healing rate, and you're telling me to fucking shut my business down. People out here are laughing. So when I watch my whole community get all scared and follow every rule without pushing back, and this is an OG, black market cannabis growing community, and I'm just like, we moved out here to be outlaws. We moved out here to not be a part of the system. And then the system tells you to be afraid of a 99.8% healable virus. And you are all up in arms with fucking bandanas covering your face. I was like, what happened? Like, what happened to everybody, And the compliance is what allowed it to be so tyrannical. Had everyone just said, look, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass on being afraid of this. I'm going to pass on complying with your Marxist orders. I'm going to pass on actually wounding my immune system by not giving it fresh air. I'm going to pass on sanitizing myself so that I'm not constantly evolving through the current bacteria and viruses. I mean, everything we know about human evolution of the immune system, what they're pushing is the opposite. So,
I'm with you. I'm really, the one good thing that I like about myself and my lifestyle is that I'm a hermit. So I don't like being
right.
I don't like being around people, and if I do, I'm choosing wisely. And and we were living with a family back when they announced the virus, and I was just like, okay, and immediately just felt and knew things. I'm like, okay, here we go. All right, here we go about control. All right, whatever. But since I didn't go out, it's not like I don't go out and party, I don't hang out with people. I don't, well, at the time, I didn't have any friends here, and I haven't had friends here for, once I moved up here, I didn't. So I've just been alone with my partner and my dog. So it's like, whatever. Okay. It's like nothing to me. Just stay home. It's like, so everybody else is freaking out about having to be home, and I'm like, welcome to my world. It's
I know, right? It's
wonderful and peaceful, and just draw or listen to some music or get to know yourself. It's great. So it was nothing to me, but I could, if I were to, if somebody else were to bring up COVID, because I didn't ever want to bring up COVID, I didn't know if we would bring it up. When you mention it, and I can feel it, I can feel, and I think I watched something of yours, talking about, like, what was it, consciousness or matrix of a thought or whatever. I can't remember how you worded it, but I knew what you were talking about, because it's, once you bring it up, and then if I tap into that, I can just feel.
Yeah. Oh, the morphic field of resonance. Yeah.
Feel that. And it's,
yeah.
Then you're there and you feel it, and then, oh my God, or when I would go out and observe people, my God, the way people were driving since this has just been ridiculous. Like, no mindfulness, like, seriously, the weirdest driving decisions I've ever seen in my life, dangerous driving decisions. And you can tell some are angry or some are zombified. And, I feel like, okay, it's their anxiety. They're scared as shit, but also they're not getting proper oxygen now. So now they're more.
They're suffocating themselves.
They're suffocating. Thank you for the word. Yeah. It's
yeah.
Like, holy shit, what the fuck? I'm like driving. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like, I'm just seeing I was seeing car crashes almost every day. It's just, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, it's not the best subject to bring up, but I got to this place with it where it makes me feel like Wonder Woman strong about my position on freedom. So when it comes up now, what I feel is like I step into this like lion version of myself, and I'm just like, I'm an awakened freedom being, and I'm walking through this earth free. So the subject makes me feel excited about expressing that freedom to others. Whereas in the past, it would awaken anger and frustration. And then I basically did this mantra meditation, which was really helpful. And I kept saying to myself, everyone is on their own journey with this. everyone is on their own timeline with this. I am not the master of timelines. Get over yourself, Scarlet, you know, and just like saying these things to me of like, I want to cherish their journey with it. Like, I want to get to this place where I can look at them and be like, oh my God, how beautiful that that's where they're at on their journey with it, that they're authentically relating in their own fearful way or whatever way they are. But that's them being them in that moment. And then me training myself to be able to genuinely feel through that lens of compassion and also fascination just for the love of others. Because like everything you said, I'm just like you. Like I have 2 horses, I have 3 cats, and I have 3 chickens, and they're my best friends. And their relationships are so fulfilling that I don't really have I don't have a motivation for human friendship that much. And I do Starseed coaching, and I just am introduced to the most incredibly magical women through that coaching program. So a lot of those women have become my friends, but they're not here.
Right?
They're not here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have beautiful friends, but still a small circle, but they're
everywhere.
Yeah.
So what I think, because this is just my interpretation of it, but I think that we're dropped in these other unique places because we're not meant to be clumped together. We're meant to be spread out, spreading our light all across the earth, you know?
It took me a while to accept that I arrived at that point, but for the longest, I was so upset. Here, boo-boo, good boy. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I'm now in Louisville, Kentucky. It's the city where Breonna Taylor was murdered, if that helps.
Yeah. Okay.
So here. So when that all happened, oh my God, the energy.
Yeah.
I was like, well, thank you, universe, that I could be here. And so like I would just like constantly like send out light during that time, even still. But it upset me. Like when I first met awakened souls, I don't like putting like a label on it, but yes, people who are awakened, and especially they were mostly women, and they all have different intuitive abilities. I met them in 2013. Oh, it was amazing. It was orchestrated in such an amazing way because I didn't go out to Italy to do that. I went to do this whole travel project with a friend. She's an amazing photographer and I'm a writer. So we were just getting this whole thing together for my website, and things didn't go the way I had planned. I was like, oh, this is not happening anymore. What's happening? And long story short, I found out that Charles Virtue was going to be in Italy, and he was doing this whole retreat where they would travel to a few places, and it had to do with, this is so juicy because hopefully we're going to dive into this, the goddess rising, like the feminine energy.
Wow.
I was like, okay. So I ended up joining them, and when they're like Charles, my friend Lou, so one of my good friends from there, I'm still friends with her, Lou, like there's her and just a few other women. When I met them, first of all, I was like, holy shit, I know you. Like I had the recognition, and I was like, this is amazing. I know you from somewhere. But then I literally, for the first time ever, I felt home, because like first just feeling it, like the energy. But then when I started we would have the classes with him, and he would talk about things, but when they would share what they do, I'm just like, oh, what I've been experiencing is that? Like it was starting to click. My mom told me since little, hey, look, you're gonna start seeing. And I'd be like, no. You're gonna, like, you're like me. So she would say that to me, but it's not like she guided me fully on it. She just kept reminding me, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. Some of her stories would as a kid, it would freak me out. I'm like, no. So I did a really good job of blocking it. And then that combined with, programming in school, programming with church. My family was religious, so it was Pentecostal faith. So that, even though that didn't sit right with me, so I was constantly challenging that. But so it's like I never met anybody who had the same like activated gifts as me. And so when in Italy, when I met them, oh my god,
Wow.
Can we just stay together? And so that's when
Yeah.
the community and then the school, I was like, and ever since then I was like, no, for real, guys. Like, they kind of laughed. I was like the youngest in the group, so it was great though, because I was like, wow, you know, like I'm surrounded by all these older women, and Charles is a little bit older than me. I was like, this is so dope. I got like, I can look up to all these people and stuff. But I was like, no, for real, guys, we need to create a school, or I'm gonna create a like, they understood, but they just kind of laughed. And maybe, I don't know, you know, like someone says something but maybe they just don't, you know what I mean? You say all kinds of ideas, but I was like so dead serious, you know, for real, like this is what Earth needs. Totally forgot where I was going with that. Why were we talking about that?
Oh, well, we're bringing up the goddess, which is epic, and that trip to Italy was the start of the.
Yeah, I know we were talking about friends and them not being. Oh, I guess that's just what it is too. Me being here by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remembered. Okay. Yeah. And after that, I actually got really depressed when I came. I was like, hey, I'm gonna stay in Italy. And like, they were all gonna leave. I was like, I'm just gonna stay here. I learned from the locals that I could, and it'd be fine. I wouldn't get in trouble. I was gonna, you know, stay past my visa. And I was like, I'm just gonna. I fucking love it here, the energy. And I know because I ended up being in the same time zone as the time zone I was born in, which I feel like that unlocked so much for me.
Yeah.
I was born in Landstuhl, Germany, and so like the time in Italy is the same time zone as in.
Yeah.
And once my body acclimated, I was just like, what is this feeling? Like, it was crazy and magical, and so much stuff started to unlock instantly. And then of course, you know, during that retreat with Charles Virtue and the women, and then later, you know, along my path, the goddess like bringing me to remember things, I was like, wow, just my presence, me being there in Italy and going to certain places, it was activating me the whole time, and I didn't know it. Like,
wow.
Like, what?
So was it like when you got home and you kind of looked back, you were able to see like how you were being activated? How did you get that insight?
Oh my God. Sometimes it was immediate too. Like, and man, honestly, even before I joined the retreat, when my friend and her husband they were like, hey, we want to take you to such and such place. I can, for the life of me, I always forget this dang name. It's in northern Italy.
Oh,
I don't know. It's a city along.
Is it coastal?
Yeah, in northern Italy.
Is it Cirolo?
No, I think. Does it start with an F? Maybe. It's good. It'll come to me, and then I'll be like, oh, that's the name of it. But and it was a well-known port in the past too. So like, once we got there and got out the car, I was just like, whoa, like I could feel it, like, and to a degree it felt like I could kind of see what used to happen. You know, I could kind of envision what it was. Just imagine, like, oh my God, how many thousands of years, and you just imagine like all these different people from different backgrounds coming to trade, and like, you know what I mean, like it just
and so
then,
layered.
oh my God. And then we went to this, at that city we went to, it's a well-known place, but it's written somewhere, sorry, but there's just old ruins there. And some of it's not still well put together, but still, and I just would walk up to him, when I would touch it, I'm just like, oh my God, this is trippy. It was like the twilighty, and at the time I wasn't sure what it meant, but looking now that I've had more experiences like that, I'm like, whoa, you know, I was being activated, downloading things. And sometimes when I download stuff, I don't know what it is in that moment, and then it just kind of unpacks, you know what I mean? Like, traveling
Yeah.
through. And it was just, and it just, I mean, I don't even know. I love when that happens, and I could tell that I've had lives there, and even just in that area, like I'm just so drawn to the Mediterranean, Italy, the other places, Hawaii, New Zealand, and Australia, which back in 2012 and 2013, no one talked about Lemuria, and I could not find a damn thing about Lemuria online. And I kept looking, I'm like, why do I remember this? And I kept getting, my awareness kept going to the Pacific, and I was like, I feel like Australia, like when I look at, when I look on the map and everything, like that all, I feel like that was all a landmass. Now it's all separated. And then I would go and I'm like digging in research and couldn't find a damn thing except Helena Blavatsky. She has like an old work, and then the channelings of Cryon. That was the only other time I could hear anything about Lemuria. And now when you Google it, you can find all kinds of stuff, and it can actually be overwhelming. But that's the other place that I'm just strongly like, and I go back and forth. I feel like I'm still called to Hawaii, but I know that there's so many people already there. But I need to just follow whatever comes through, because it's kind of like I see what you're saying about being in Cali and then being there for a while and then knowing, I don't want to be here. And that's honestly how I feel about here. Yet while I'm here, I feel like there's purpose here.
Yeah.
And it took me some time to come to acceptance of that. Like, just be you and keep doing your work here. It's meant to be for now. But man, that energy that's building up that you're talking about, that I've been feeling, it's just like, it's here and it's coming, it's getting stronger, and I just don't feel like I'm gonna be here much longer. My dream is to be out west, but my logical mind is like, man, there's already so many people there. And then I already know that I've just heard things about Hawaii that kind of like make me wonder. But do you know what I'm talking about? It's like I've heard, which is, I actually don't think I would probably get discriminated against because I look like them. I've actually had people think that I'm, and I always say it wrong, but I'm actually really drawn to this tribe, the Maori.
Yeah, totally. I would say you totally resemble that vibe. I did a girls' surf trip in, I can't believe I don't remember, but I think it was Maui for a week. And I had that same feeling in my heart of what you're talking about, and wondering what the experience was going to be. And especially with surfing, people feeling, like territorial around certain areas. And we were all just met with the most like beautiful aloha beings, of like loving beings, and beings that were still connected to nature, because nature's so loud there. You can't, like you can try and cut it back, but it'll just grow the next day. It'll just grow right back. So it's just like jungle everywhere, and nature everywhere, and abundance everywhere. And then all the ions, because the water is just, they're all islands. So it just feels like you're totally always being blown by these negative ocean ions, cleansing your auric field. I feel like it's such strong medicine. And each place is such a beautiful gift. Like, even though I feel like I got kicked out of California in the end, meaning like the energy was so strong, I was like being tossed out.
I know what you mean. I call it, that to me, it's Kali, the goddess. She comes in and fucks shit up.
Dude, yeah. And it was even during a fire. Like, I left there while my horse was evacuated. She was in a temporary facility. I was packing up and moving my house while the air was thick with smoke, and I was evacuated, like didn't know if I was have to get evacuated. So here I am packing up my home in a state of panic, literally feeling kicked out of the entire state. But when I got here, and after I healed from the trauma of everything, I built my baby. I built White Fox in California. She was born there. She was born through messages from the redwoods surrounding my home. She was fed by all of the little bird creatures that lived on the property. Like that land there really did inspire some great things inside of me to be born. And I hold such a dear place of gratitude. And it was a war zone of beauty. Basically, that's how I felt. Like I went through so many transitions and changes. I got swept away by money for a little bit and lost track of my spirit. I came back to myself and realized what was more important. And I got so many intense experiences there that have brought me to who I am today. And I'm in love with who I am today. And that's a part of it. So I love California for that. I'm just at a phase in my journey where I don't want the war zone. I want the bliss zone. And so like I'm intentionally creating the bliss zone because it's a choice, right? Like if you need more of those contrasting lessons, that's available. The earth is a soul school. And apparently part of me needed more of those. And thank God I stayed and warriored through because I'm so amazing. You know what I mean? Like
that to be activated within you too, you know. I realized that about experiences that I've had. When you were sharing that, for whatever reason, that brought up like tears in me. I don't know why. So I'm probably picking up on some of your memories or something. And because it's like my eyes, I don't know if you can tell, but my watering. And it's like coming from, oh, you can't even see on the screen, but it's like coming up and yeah. Life will do that to you, and experiences will do that to you to teach. And I just think it's awesome though that you have that awareness to know and actually will be grateful, right? Because it's like you can fall into the trap, and I mean I have too, where something happens and instead of looking around and wondering, okay, what is it that I need to learn, or what is it that needs to be activated, or what is it I need to look at? Shadow work can be so hard if you don't shift your perspective that way and you just kind of get into the why is this happening. I think we all should allow ourselves to ask why, right? We should allow ourselves to freak out, but then after that, you know, start asking yourself what is the lesson. But you know, if you stay in the trap of like, why is this, why me, oh, everything fucking sucks, and you know, if you stay there, you miss out on all these little cookies and little golden nuggets and stuff, and it can be so shitty. But oh my god, like just I can't even put into words. Just the visual coming to me is just like one of the toughest times that I've had is one would be being with an extremely abusive guy. Second would be me and my partner constantly losing our home over and over. So like we actually experienced the same thing you did, where that destructive energy came in like, nah, it's over, get out. Like we lost land, and then we like went and stayed in this one place and that didn't work out, then we went to this other place, and then that just got demolished, like the situation, and we were homeless for a while, living in our van. And I was doing my best to be positive, and I was like, I already knew, I was like, all right, Kali, okay, goddess, I get it. Like you are telling me this phase is over, and like I've stressed to you, I can feel that we're not supposed to be here anymore. It's like that message kept coming, but it's hard, like you kind of like hold on to something, well no, but this and that. I really don't have that many ties here. My family is across the river, but my family is not as close-knit as it sounds like your family is. You're very blessed, by the way, just want you to know that. And yeah, not many people have that. And like I think it was harder for my partner. He has had to like see what he needed to let go of, you know, and that can be hard. And I find that the masculine, it's harder for them. I really have noticed that it's harder for the masculine to let go and trust and surrender. That is the word, like for the masculine to surrender. But anyways, yeah, the other super shitty experience would be living in that van and just different things. But through that, oh my God, I'm like, I don't think I would trade it for anything, because
Right.
it really brought back some things, like basic things I needed to remember, like remembering to be grateful, and remembering, I actually, one of the best parts was that I could hear nature like right outside. And so we may not have had food, but like I'd be like, oh my God, the birds sound so amazing right now. Oh my God, those cricket, like, oh my God, just the sounds. And I could just hear right outside my little walls just vibrating. And it was so yummy. It just, it'll remind you of some amazing stuff. And you like, yet again, activate more, like just a deeper, I don't even know, I'm trying to put it into words. I don't know, I'd have to say like that low was probably one of the best lows, because from there, it took me through such an amazing initiation with the goddess. Like, oh, can we go there now? Can we talk?
Yeah. Yeah. Girl, I so feel everything you're saying. It's like, that's exactly how I felt. Like packing up and driving the U-Haul across the country alone with all my animals. When I got over the trauma of everything I had went through, I felt like the most powerful goddess on the planet. And to be able to viscerally feel that feeling inside of your body, it's worth whatever hell you had to walk through, in my opinion, to get to that place within yourself. And I mean, I look back now and I'm just like, I am a fucking badass, and there won't ever be any vibration around me that'll confuse me into thinking any differently. And that's a place of security and empowerment that I worked really fucking hard to feel in my life. And it makes me unstoppable, and it makes my companies unstoppable, and it makes what I have to share unstoppable. And that is the muscle that I pray I'm encouraging other women to flex, you know, like flex it, be it, like what you said, go through it. And then you get to have this transcendental experience after of your true essence, which that's, to me, I mean, what else are we here to experience? That's what it is. So we just won, you know? And I think that like the programming that going through hard things is bad, it's not. Going through hard things is, it's growth inducing, you know? And I think convenience de-evolves people. Ease de-evolves people. Like, you put someone in a padded room and you give them all the money they want, they're not going to be a very developed being. So there's a lot of, I think, misconstrued things. And I think what the goddess is really calling forward, almost shouting it at this point to us, is how I feel. Like, it's just like, stand up, women, and not stand up in the way that feminism has been portrayed, but stand up in the soft, compassionate, sensual portal that you are, where you don't have to yell and act like a man, because you're the magnet of all that is. Like, the way that people present the strong feminine in our culture, I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, ooh. But basically, you put a wig on a man. Like, that is not femininity. That's not feminism. Feminism is, I actually influence you by silently opening my legs and shining love into you from my heart. And then I will rock your world without a word. That's the power, because I've activated my compassion, and all I see is goodness in you. And then you resonate at that goodness, and bingo, bango, I've unleashed the power of the goddess.
Oh my God. Like, I've like had so many words about the whole feminist movement, and I'm not like in any way, you know, the best educated on the movement, but it's just from what I know, it's like, and it served its purpose at the time. It definitely served its purpose, but it's like,
totally did.
But women have to, as all of that has to keep moving, as so we can continue to really come into alignment with what we are, and with the divine feminine, like just what femininity is. And that's, man, when me and my partner get to combos, like we'll get on that too, because it's like, man, it really frustrates me that when a woman says, well, you know, I can do whatever a man can do. And then, I mean, I guess, yeah, but the beauty is, I started to realize, especially when my partner came into my life, is honoring the masculine and what they can do, and honoring what I can do as a woman.
Girl.
Like, you know, there's such a beautiful balance. And then through that, you can help, you know, the masculine awaken that part within them. But it's like, stop trying to be a man. You don't have to try to, you know what I mean? It's like, you don't. And our strength, you know, as a woman, in my head now, I'm like, oh God, no, don't with now my brain's like, oh no, but now, you know, the movement with like pronouns and stuff, like I'm so out of that. Like, I'm like, but
I don't even, I don't focus on that.
Talk normally talk. So as a woman, you know, we have, oh my God, it's just like, it's such an incredible feeling, like being around a bunch of women, you know, heart-centered, awakened women, you know, right? Not like women who are toxic and not, you know, in alignment yet. But when you're around women, oh my God, there's just this amazing, it's our strength, our compassion, our nurturing. It's, you know, what we have is amazing. Okay. And then when you see a man and like they're like the good kind of force, not like, you know, aggressive kind of force, the bad kind of aggressiveness, but the fact that they have so much power behind their energy, that they're like, I read something and it said that men's energy is like the sun and women's energy is like the moonlight. Like I was like, I feel that, because like I remember when me and my partner got together, I kept telling him, I'm like, you're like sunshine to me. I mean, everybody shines bright, but it was just something about his energy and like the fire. That's where I'm trying to get at. Like have a fire, you know, that women don't, and that's okay. It's totally okay, right? It's like we have something that they don't, but that's where it brings things into balance. And then of course we have to remember to really unlock that within ourselves too, for our own inner harmony. But holy shit, I'm there with you, with the goddess. And that's why this is so exciting, Scarlet, that we're doing this now. I'm looking at the clock, I'm looking at the date, April, because 13 for the goddess, right? I was like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then when that song came on, I was like, what? And then my friend in India was like, oh, that's the day that Navratri starts. And I'm like, what?
Oh,
I was just like, oh my God. Like, and I celebrated Navratri for the first time last year and I loved it. I fucking loved it. I was like, oh my God, I need to do this like every time it happens. So I'm excited because I've got to do something today for it. Like each day is like a different version of the goddess of Durga. And like, there's these cool stories behind it. And it's amazing. So I was like, wow, we're doing this. And we didn't really know what we were going to talk about. Right. But I was like, man, I hope we can like tie it in with what She of the Throne is. But then once we were like, oh, hey, I did this video, you're probably going to like it. I'm like, oh yeah. It's like, yes, let's go there, because I don't know what you know. So I want to hear you talk on that. But the amazing thing is that I have not done another episode since Mars retrograde. And I don't know how much you know about like astrology or not, but when I feel called to do the digging and know, I find out, and then I'm able to like relay messages. And when Mars retrograde happened, it actually went into it. There was a shadow, obviously there was a shadow before a retrograde. So that happened like kind of summertime, I think July, and then it went retrograde. And oh my goodness, in October, like I feel like October was so powerful. What was happening and how Mars got so close. We were all, oh my God. So my whole episode 3, the last 2 episodes is about Mars retrograde, and I did it specifically for men, and I was trying to help them understand what they're feeling, because I could tell men were going through stuff, like the masculine collective. A lot was coming up for them around sex.
Yeah, sex is, yeah. It's being totally collectively redefined right now. That's what I'm tapping into, is like, I'm witnessing the relationship between man and woman be totally redefined, the sexual intercourse being totally redefined. And so like when I'm witnessing myself in that process, it's almost like a state of limbo, but it's not limbo as in you're not active. It's just something has died and the new way hasn't been born yet. So it's the in-between world right now where deconstruction, I think, is still really heavily occurring. And then there's a group of beings that are rebuilding sex in a new way, but nothing has really materialized that firmly into the 3D to be understood viscerally. That's kind of how I'm experiencing it right now. And
like in the map, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're saying it's not available for a majority of people. Like, I'm just stressing that for the listeners out there, but like, there are, you know, ever since there's so much like we could spend hours talking, but just my remembrance of being really, really connected to the lineage of Mary and Yeshua and all that when I started digging, I'm like, oh, okay, there are schools, there are priestess schools, there are priestess paths. And so in some of them, they heavily focus on, you know, passion and pleasure, and I guess unlocking that. So like that is available to some who do get that calling, but it's not for the majority. And I feel like it's like those who are called to this, I don't know exactly what your path is. I see roses behind you, by the way, so it kind of gives me a little hint of something. So, you know, and those who are remembering, and to me, it's reactivation. It's not like I'm being taught. And I feel like that's got to be what's happening for you or certain beings. We are remembering lifetimes of wisdom, of knowledge, and we're here to really anchor that in and teach it in however way, or just help in the activation of it, or whatever this movement. But I'm so with you there in the deconstructing, and I'm so sorry I interrupted you.
No, I love everything you're saying so much.
Like, I get it. I like that you said limbo though, because have you ever felt like, okay, even before I had certain activations and remembering, there were certain things that I already did and I didn't know why I would do it. I just knew that I knew. So, or even when I would think on sex and stuff, and of course having experiences in the past, and I would feel so, I would be so like disappointed and just like, what is this? Yeah. It's like my soul remembers, you know, what true intimacy is and connection. Yeah. And so it's like, even though my body was feeling pleasure, right? It was like, something is off. Something is not right. Even if when I cared about, you know, the ex at the time or whatever, you know, something was just off. And then when I broke away from everything and actually got away from an abusive ex, he was like my catalyst for everything. So I'm grateful for that experience. But after that, I went celibate and then just dove into just unlocking memory, which it was fucking amazing. Like I had instant like remembering, and like it was great. And I don't know, like I was like part of the collective of people, like souls in 2011, 2012, who like kind of like activated. Yeah. And during that time when I would think about sex, because I had to reflect on I was like reflecting on everything from before that moment, like my choices, the people in my life, you know, habits, relationships. And so I was reflecting on sex too, and I was just like, God, it was, you know, my body could feel pleasure, but something was always missing. I always remember feeling extremely sad afterwards, like something was just off. And then when I would really meditate on it, and I would think about what I really would want and just certain practices, and I'm like, but how do I know these things? So these were like things that were over, like, it's soul wisdom that's there that was wanting to come up. And then now when I, I'm not subscribed, I guess you could say, I'm not a student of any one school or whatever. There's like 2 women that I really love the work they do, 𝙏𝙚𝙚 and 𝙏𝙚𝙚. They run the Priestess of the Rose, I want to say. I think that's how you say it. Their work resonates the most. But when I like do my own, like I let myself be guided, that inner compass you talk about. So when I do certain things, I'm like, wow. So yeah, that was definitely soul remembering of things to do with your partner, tantric practices, like sacred sex practices and stuff. And so that is what I want. I want Earth to know. I want people to know, like, sex is beautiful and amazing. Like everything you were saying in that video you did, that I loved it. I loved that you talked about it.
Thank you.
Talk about it a little bit more. I'll definitely, of course, I'll put like your links and stuff, so I'll make sure that is in there. But for those who haven't seen the video yet, would you like to like expand on what you said in there?
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. It's basically my individual process right now and what I'm going through with my relationship to sex. And the most resonant teachings I've had is through the ancient tantrika practices, through the Mary Magdalene lineage, which is Mother Mary lineage, which is, Jesus is in there. And so there's a channeled book from Mary Magdalene called the Magdalene Manuscript. And this couple, the guy channeled it, but he was very encouraged by his wife. And so she's a part of it too. But those teachings felt resonant that they were from Mary Magdalene. And a lot of the teachings inside the book was about really having such a deep trust between the man and the woman that the woman's heart can be completely open and vulnerable. And then the man can hold that with the fierce, loving gaze that men can hold and witness. And then when they join in breath and they join in consciousness. And Jesus's main role, like the reason why Jesus could resurrect himself and basically awaken via his light body and live through his light body and his ascended presence, was through the magnetism that he created through the orgasms of Mary Magdalene. So it's this whole journey between them, but then also he shares the practical, like, what do you do in your head when you're making love to create this energizing of the 𝑘𝑂 body? What do you imagine? How do you breathe? So he goes through the practical how-to aspects along with the storyline. And so for me, I feel like that's my North Star right now. That's what I'm moving towards. And a lot of how I evolve myself is through, I can witness external patterns in the matrix, and then I can see where I have resonance within me, where the pattern may still be active. And so I like to look out into the matrix sometimes and just see how collective people are moving through different subjects. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is still stuck here in me. And I'm still kind of living through that mainstream perspective. And then I can take it out. As soon as I can see it, I can take it out in a second. And it's no longer an active resonance side of me. So with sex, in the past, like my relationship with men has been, and it's not just on their end, I have had a fear of being that open and vulnerable too with my heart, and really letting my heart, like, I can say I want it all I want verbally, but I don't think I've ever been in a position in a partnership where I'm with a man where I have that level of trust with him. So I haven't had the opportunity to really lay fully open, like a flower fully open, and receive that type of witnessing. And so what I witness inside of myself is I'm doing the work of witnessing myself and those different layers of beauty, and witnessing myself in those different layers of sensuality, and getting more comfortable with being gazed upon in that openness, I guess. So I practiced that. And when I got out here, I got on a dating app didn't go too far into my hermitage ways, and I stayed kind of more relatable, because I can really just let my imagination take me into a whole nother universe, and then I forget that this world existed, but I'm here for a reason. So I want to keep connecting with people. And I was clear when I was like, I'm not really in a place where I can commit to anyone, because I'm rebuilding my foundation right now. But I was witnessing myself interacting with these different men, and I was noticing how I am feeling like a 2-year-old that's learning how to like talk or something. Like I'm rewriting how I even engage with men in the whole, what's it called? Like the whole courting process. Like I had,
sorry if I blink.
That's okay.
Look, I'm like, come on, blanket. Do what you do. Okay. It's cold here now.
Yeah.
Sorry, keep going. And I actually resonate with all of this. This is like, you have no idea.
I think that the Matrix actually created this level of unsafety for women to actually be that open. So I think it was appropriate that we weren't that open during the main running of this Matrix. And now that it's gone and the Earth demons are off planet, like I feel like for the first time on Earth, I have an opportunity to be safe and open and allow that type of energy to really move through me. But yeah, we'll see where all of this is going. I feel awkward right now in terms of sex, even with myself. There's moments where I can get into it, but what I feel is that I am rewriting so many programs right now, and I'm reintegrating so many remembrances about the truth of intimacy and the truth of sex, that when I engage with myself, I'm almost in an in-between land. And so I'm just noticing that it feels like one foot in the old world, one foot in the new, not yet to be integrated world. And so I'm in process right now. I feel like I'm in process, and it's a big subject.
Like as I'm staring at you, I'm so intently listening, and I'm like, is this real right now? I mean, I can't believe this is so good. Like, and thank you for being so open to talk about it too, first of all. So thank you. Wow. And then just second, everything you're saying is what I experienced and have been experiencing, but I'm like, I can totally tell I'm in a newer phase of it. Oh my God, where do I even begin? Like the awkwardness, I just thought like maybe I only experienced that because I'm a survivor of sexual trauma. So that was one of the other huge things that my guides through, like when I spent my time with Mama Aya, Mother Ayahuasca, it was like pushing strongly for me to do a podcast. And I was like, a podcast? What? And I remember even before that, like it's just funny because before that, I had random ass people come up to me and tell me they liked my voice and I should do a podcast, but I had no idea what a podcast was. I was like, what's a podcast? So there's that. But then when she came forward and said that, I was like, what? And then through memories that came up while drinking the tea, and also the healing, the big thing in which I talk about in episode 1 of this podcast is a repressed memory of being molested. So that was very traumatizing to have to reintegrate and then heal from. And so after that, I met my partner, and oh my God, he was very patient with me. I was like, when I thought I was so my beingness and spirit was like, oh, it's him. Like I was so excited to be with him. But and after having not been with anybody for a while, like just relationship wise and even like intimacy, but I was open with him about what I'd been through, and I was like, I don't think I'm ready yet. And so he waited till I was. And then when I was, oh my God, I was like, what the fuck? It's like what you're saying. I didn't know what to do. Like it was like awkward, everything. Oh my gosh. So even you know what, it's what you're saying, there's so many layers, because, and at the time I didn't think that I was in any flow of any kind of what's happening on the planet with sex. Just at the time, I thought it was someone who had worked through some trauma, was still trying to work through trauma, and needed to slowly open up to this partner and be okay with it and not freak out while she's having sex, you know, like that. It was so hard. Like, so I met him in 2016 and we're in 2021. So I just started to get comfortable with being intimate 2019 kind of. It would come and go, because I did have some right after, while we were homeless, and then we ended up finding a place we could stay with a family. Got some crazy ass initiations that summer. I was like, what is this? Like, I just felt this intense fire in my womb. It was crazy. And then after that, I started to go through a lot of stuff with her, and so it would kind of like rise up in me where I felt like a fucking amazing lioness, like what you're saying, like earlier, like a lioness, and like really into tuning into feeling, you know, that rise up, like that energy, the sexual energy in us, like being really aware of it and being okay with it, because in the past I like really try to push it away, you know, from trauma and stuff, and it would come and go. It would come and go with like, it'd be there, and then we'd have our little intimate moment, and then it'd go away, and then I would, like, my libido would just come and go, and it's just been like that for a little bit. But holy fuck balls, woman, like,
yeah,
a few weeks ago, it was, I think, right around the spring equinox, that's when I was like, whoa.
yeah.
I was like, Jesus Christ, why am I so horny?
Yeah. Yeah,
I was like,
girl.
holy fuck. And it was so in alignment with spring, and that's exactly what spring is. Like, Mother Earth is waking up and she's fertile, and you know what I mean? Like, this fucking like magic. I was like,
yeah.
fuck. And I went to this gathering with women, and that was, I'm so glad I did that, because I'm a hermit. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. I don't know these people, and what if they're toxic and not. But I went, and it was amazing. It was beautiful, and everything I needed. And you said something earlier. You said we are birthing the new. Oh, and I've been waiting to tell you this. Like, when we did this breath work, which I've only done once before, and the first time I did it was in Florida while I was drinking the tea. It was a span of 9 months. I was drinking the tea every month, and I was also in yoga teacher training down there, and they did this breath work with us one day, and that was another way repressed memories came up. And I also like was sitting with my counsel, like I left my body and I was looking down on like everything that happened, and I was like, so when the women at the spring equinox gathering was like, okay, we're going to be doing this breath work, I was like, which breath work? Which one? Hold on, I didn't prepare myself. And it was the same exact one, holotropic breath work. And but it was different, but still intense, but fucking beautiful. And like, so much had to just literally just not, I don't even want to say release, because I'm rewriting on certain words too, so not that, but like just dismantling and just dissolving. I was crying it out, wailing it out, screaming and moaning and everything. And then like I had to put my legs up, you know, like when you would do not a push-up, a sit-up, you know, or a woman literally going into labor and she kind of puts her legs up and spreads her legs wide. I had to do that, and I was like crying my heart out, like stuff, just letting stuff go. But also I could literally feel, and I could hear Mother Mary there with me and talking to me about time is now. It's now. Reclaim like who you are. And you know, I'm trying to remember all the words that was being said. It was fucking amazing. And then I heard myself say, the new earth is birthed through me. I am birthing the new world. I am birthing the new earth. And I was just like, literally, it was like I was like, oh, it was like,
yes,
it was fucking great. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like insane amounts of sexual energy, which I'm grateful that I have the awareness I do, because I knew it wasn't about me to just go off and fuck, right? I was like, wow, all this amazing fucking was like, so, you know, it was like a whole new chapter for me where, yes, I feel more open to go to my partner and say, hey, I am aroused right now, you know, because I've struggled with that in the past, with being like expressive, that I can feel that, like I just kind of hope like he would just notice and, you know, get our groove on. But so it's like, it was such a new phase for me to be like, oh yes, I own this. I own all this sexual energy. I have strong sexual energy. And that's what scared me in the past. Every time I would tap into it, I'm like, oh no. And then I like shut it down. So yes, I opened myself up to express that with him and to be more open. And in those vulnerable moments, I know exactly what you're talking, like just to be witnessed, like, and I fucking love him. I've been with him almost 5 years. And it's like, there were some moments where I almost wanted to shut down because of the like intensity of just looking at one another. And I'm like, no, just be, you know, just be. So I was like, wow, I'm moving through this whole new thing. This is amazing. And then not even just sex, it's like, I wake up the next day and feel it again. I'm like, Jesus Christ, where's all this? I'm normally not like, so I was like, you know what? I would just breathe and bring it up. And then I was like channeling it into, that's why like I sat down and started to email people to schedule the podcast. And then you fucking pop out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like,
feeling you.
oh my God. I was like, dude, it's just, I can't even, I mean, this is so dope.
Yeah.
Like hear your experience too, because you bring up that book, you're like maybe the fifth, I don't know, I can't put a number on it, but I've heard of the book so many times, but I haven't read it yet. But I probably should. That probably would like even deepen it, you know.
Yeah.
Or I definitely need to. It's just like you, I go off like what's being activated and what I remember, and I'm just careful of what to, I guess, ingest, you know what I mean, like take in. But it's just constantly hearing about that one. And then there's I actually thought you were going to say the O script. Is that the same one?
No, I haven't heard of that.
Okay, so it's a different one. Okay, yeah, I actually thought you were about to say the O script. So, but the one you're talking about, I've heard quite a lot. So I'm definitely going to need to invest in that.
I love what you just shared. I think that like you just shared a very real, vulnerable human perspective of how this is a journey. Like we can have a goal of being completely open and vulnerable and in our feminine power while we make love to our partner who we trust and have that be in transcendental experience. So that can be our goal, right? And then it's just like every day we take one more step towards that goal. But I think if people go in with the mindset, oh, well, that's what I want, and I read this book, and why am I not experiencing it? It's like you said, like you've been with your partner for 5 years now, and you're still in process of being in that space, you know, and then maintaining being in that space. And that's the beauty of being in a human body on earth. That's literally the juice of being in like on our journey. And I think that one of the big gifts that the Matrix gave us is to show us how instant gratification actually leads to more depletion. And as soon as we realize that, then we allow these real earth journeys to be something that we hold with reverence and sacredness. And we're not impatient as to when we get to the goal. We're just really enjoying the unfolding of walking towards the goal. And so that's kind of what I feel like I heard you sharing, was like, I'm on this journey and I'm here on this journey, and it's amazing and it's still unfolding. And
Yeah.
I love when I witness people okay with the journey, you know, and just be like, if your goal is to have that experience through sex, you will undoubtedly have it. I never have any doubts that it'll ever not happen if that's something people want. So I think we're all just on our own little tiptoeing or walking or skipping towards, you know, that place and how we relate to one another sexually. I'm really excited about it because I know I'm going to get to this place one day where I'll be completely embodying all of my divine and sexual power. And I will be an extremely huge force to reckon with. And I know that that's where I'm headed. And I know that
already a force. So it's going to be like blazing.
Yeah. I'm going to be just like, I know it's coming. So I'm enjoying this part of it, this very brand new. It's a lot. I think that level of intimacy, I'm so excited to gain that trust with a partner. I'm so excited to be seen and met on the level of where I'm at. And I know it's coming. And I know that the guy that I'm going to meet is preparing himself just as I'm preparing myself. And I can feel like our union being brewed up by the stars. And so I'm just so enjoying my time alone. And I did take a course, the Tao Tantric course for women, and it's led by my friend Feather. She's out in Hawaii. And this is an online course that it really allowed me to see the power of the soft feminine, which was a lesson I really needed. Because I think, yeah, like my, until I took that course, I was operating as like, thinking that force and working hard would get me where I wanted to go. And that I was overworking, overtrying, overthinking. And then it was causing too much fire in my system. So I was getting cysts on my ovaries and I was having pain during sex. And it was like the balance of the feminine is that soft, compassionate, gooey center. So the first opening story of her school was the story of Kuan Yin. And I don't know if you know that goddess's story with her father, but her level of compassion is just like, I mean, I cried. I like viscerally like shook and cried when I read it. And then I was like, I can't even move to lesson 1 until I've read this story like 15 times, because it was having a huge impact on me. And literally my next moon cycle, I didn't have any pain. And I could feel that my over masculine energy was causing havoc on my feminine inner bits. And it was turning into painful periods, and it was turning into cysts on my ovaries. And when I activated that compassion inside of myself and I rebalanced and harmonized my true femininity, I got to witness like where the power really was, you know. And
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
So her course was what led me, because she really, really, really loves Mary Magdalene, and we did a lot of different rituals with her. And so her teachings led me to that book, and I was in partnership at the time. So I was reading the book and I was hoping he would read the book, but it was one of those relationships where like, he never really had genuine interest. He was just kind of in space in my life. And I had to witness that and kind of kick it out, kind of a thing. So he didn't ever have that drive or that motivation to participate in the stuff in this book, which was perfect, because I feel like my foundation is about being confident in myself with my sexual energy to be with a partner and say, I want it like this right now, or I like it like this, or can you go a little lighter and softer? And so I am in process of like learning to be okay with expressing myself like that via practicing and knowing exactly what I want. So I'm kind of going through that, re-relating to myself in that way.
Oh,
It's exciting.
I'm sending you a bunch of love on that because it's fun, and it's a really good journey. I mean, I know you're laughing. I guess I could. I don't know how you took that, but I'm just saying, like.
No, I mean, what popped in my head was like a lot of my like self-pleasure. I'm visualizing myself having sex with Jesus, and like our light bodies are intertwining, and I'm feeling his spiritually attuned masculine presence like envelop and hold my whole being. And I feel like I can melt into a presence like Jesus's presence. And that's kind of my reference right now for the masculine, is someone that's so interested in their own internal alchemy that they then can offer so much more to their partner. Yeah. So that's why I was laughing, because I got this flash in my head of myself having sex with Jesus. And I was like, yeah, it's a fun journey.
I mean, that's why I was like, I don't know how she took that. And, because obviously, yeah, we have to be with ourselves and do self-pleasuring, right, to figure it out. So that part is yummy, but it's just really everything, because you really start, oh my God, it's just like what you said, you deconstruct what you thought you wanted, what you thought you liked, or what you allowed, really, right? Like, yeah, or thought is how it's supposed to be, or whatever. To certain degrees, I guess I could say it was like that, but I guess one good thing is that I've usually always been vocal, but that's actually really repelled a lot of guys. not just in the bedroom, just in general, like just being vocal, and like men who just can't handle / honor that, like for a woman to speak. It's like, so yeah, I've definitely triggered a lot of people, even if it's not like a partnership, just men in general. But it's kind of weird too, because then I don't know, yeah, it really, everything that we talked about a little while ago, it's like I already knew my force, like my energy and my power, but not to the full extent. And then having to remember what happened to me as a child, it fucking like shattered everything. And then I was so timid just with everything too. Then I was super sensitive. So I definitely didn't want to be around people. Definitely didn't want to date anybody. Like, I really wanted to tend to my energy and my inner child and everything. And I had to really, yet again, peel away things that weren't truly what is my nature, my true essence, and remember what I am. And it's just like, that's been a journey in itself. But even the vocalization, I speak. I was born to speak, to use my voice, right? Yeah. We come here, and I mean, I've only seen a few of your videos, but I can tell you come here with that energy too. Yeah. So like, there's just, it's like when I had the remembering of what happened as a child, but it also activated so much remembering in other lifetimes of what I've endured. And then when I met my partner, it's I've kind of expanded in some ways on the twin flame thing, but for everyone else's sake, I still say he and I are twin flames. And like, it's so true, when you meet that person, it just unlocks stuff and tons of shit. It's like instant purging, instant remembering, and it can be overwhelming. And that was like for 2 years when we first met. It was constant purging and remembering and integration, and it was just like, phew. And so much came up around, sex, you know what I mean? Like, just from rape to fucking being forced to marry someone you don't want to marry, from being in like a royal family and being married off to some asshole you don't want to marry, and like to the secrecy of like having to sleep with someone, you know, in secrecy because you don't like that king or duke or whatever you got married off to. Like so much got brought up over the years, so it's not just the one single situation. I don't even know how to put it. Fucked upness, whatever, of being molested. Is just like everything being unpacked from lifetimes, my soul, you know, experiences, but also, you know, the DNA we're carrying, you know, our fucking lineages, you know, what our grandmother went through, what our great grandmother went through, what our great aunt went, whatever, you know what I mean? Like stuff just comes up, and it's like I had to constantly work through it and get myself back to where I can get back to expressing my truth. So it's like, I just want, you know, women out there who are listening to know that it's like, it definitely is a journey, and there's so much more that will come up that's not just about you. And even like the collective, sometimes we just tap in for each other and can feel that. It's just,
yeah,
great. It's a collective memory.
Yeah.
And having to remember and bring ourselves back to remembering that we are sovereign and that we can speak. We have to get back to that, like what you're saying, like get back, oh, I need to vocalize, and even doing it with yourself, because even that can be a challenge. Just even trying to move through and remember just for yourself. Sure.
Yeah. It's chilly. I think I gotta go feed the horses, girl. Is it 11 or 11:30? What time is it?
Oh my god, it's 1:12 here.
So
are you two?
Am I two? I think you're 2 hours ahead of me. Okay, yeah, so it's almost 11:30. I gotta feed them at 11:30.
Oh,
they're so sweet.
Your horses are sweet?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet. I've always wanted to be really close to horses, but when I was younger, I had like a really bad reaction to one, and then I've never been around them since. I would love to though.
Yeah, girl, they're powerful. We're so on that journey right now. I think part of my new like oath or commitment to myself in regards to this topic is to
I mean, I love it though. He's very protective. Like I felt super safe when we were homeless. I was like, nobody's gonna mess with us. He's a chunk of monk, and his bark is so I don't know what it's
fierce.
Yeah, it's fierce. It's loud. I'm so sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, my commitment to myself right now is that my energy, if I'm going to start relating to another individual, it'll only be with an individual who can meet me in that moment, who isn't in process of being able to meet me, but who can meet me in that moment. And I think as women, at least I can speak from my past in relating to being in relationship. It's like the men in the past were, oh, they're working on themselves, but I wasn't ever really met in a sense of energetic resonance, I guess. And so my last partnership, it was such a magnification of not being met that it's given me a lot of motivation to where like my boundaries are very firm and they're very well known. And you are welcome to all of my magic, which is vast and juicy and totally otherworldly, as long as you meet me here. Right. And you're just as committed to yourself as I am committed to myself. And we're both open to work through things in a high consciousness manner. And if we can play in that realm together, then I think there's no such thing as limitation, you know. But my previous partnerships have all resonated with me giving my time and energy to someone that hasn't even generated their own sense of sovereignty, which is just a version of codependency.
Yeah.
So I think like what I'm preparing for is like entering into my first sovereign relationship where there won't be any crossover in that sense of codependency anymore going forward. And I'm so committed to that and so firm about that at this point in time that I'm really excited as to what's going to come in, you know?
It's when you leave, man, where do I want to, hold on, where do I want to go with that? Because there's so much you just said. My first, like what came up was, wow, to imagine a talk like this with a man involved, as in like chiming in, right? Because I wonder, you know, how can the feminine collective, how do we inspire them in their own evolution and coming into harmony with all of themselves, right?
Yeah.
So there's that. And then just the journey itself that can happen when you do meet a person, right, where you're met, and then so much can transpire, because that's what happened. I mean, it's been a lot. It's like I could write books on stuff that I've experienced since meeting my partner, and it's like after, you know, being in like a firm place like you're mentioning, and then having so much shit come up, so much stuff to work through, like, and also because I mean, I don't know how it would be for other people, but I know just a few women who are also experiencing like the sacred partnership, the twin flame journey. Like it can get so intense, because you're gonna remember things with that person. Like you both are gonna remember things from other lifetimes that you're gonna have to move through. So you gotta like do that with awareness and remembering who you are, you know, who you really are, not get caught up. It's like anything else, right? Don't get caught up in the story, let it come up and go through it, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I don't know. So I felt like I was supposed to say that there, but then there was something else. I don't want to keep you from your horses. I don't even know. But that's amazing and that's beautiful what you said. Sorry, there was like a third point, but it's whatever. It's out there. Out there. Yeah. We talked about, I brought up Mars retrograde because that is so important. Like the fact that the men were feeling it more, but women are masculine side. If women had a very strong masculine side, like what you were saying, and if they weren't aware of it, they were totally feeling all that shit, and it was so whew. But then Mars went direct and it got lighter, and then it's like boom, once the springtime came, I was just like, holy crap, what is happening? To another great thing about us meeting today is because yesterday Venus like officially moved into the placement of being in the underworld. Like she had been descending since last summer, and now she's like officially in the underworld. And it's like, that's where all, like what you're saying, I feel like we're deconstructing all this. It's happening. It's oh my god, Wolfie baby. Yeah, I know he's probably got to go out too, so yeah. So this is from, look, we need to mark this day because we're talking about Venus is officially in the underworld. She was making her way, boom, she's there, right? And she's going to start ascending, I think, in May. I'm like trying to get better in really knowing her movements, right? But I believe it's May. So I'm wondering what's going to happen now to next month. What's going to transpire for women? Or what's going to happen for men? Because there was like I don't know if it was a vision or if it happened while I was sleeping, whatever. But I remember my partner saying that we were already in the underworld and he had followed me there, and it would follow me out, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, so I'm so curious to see.
It feels like we are in the underworld, and we're going to be that's what you're saying. In May, when she goes back above ground, we'll be birthing, and we'll be out of this transitional period, and we'll start to actually physicalize 5Di's the new way of relating with sovereign, empowering, spiritual sex. Yeah, because it's kind of like hindsight. We have intuitive hits that we're all feeling right now, right? We're like, something's happening. We know we're in some kind of transformation. We're all aware of it. And then for me, the crystal clarity of hindsight happens once the cycle has kind of solidified and ended. So it will be cool to check back in May and be like, what solidified? What actually happened when she came back above ground? What did we rebuild? What did we remember and start expressing again?
What's funny too is that usually after a transformation, right, when you're on the other side, you go, it's like you already knew, but it's kind of hard to put into human, like, right, language or whatever. So you kind of already know, but it's almost like, at least for me, at least sometimes it's like I'm looking through a very sheer curtain or something, and it's like I can't see it, and it's like I know it, like I can feel it, but it's like I can't fully see it yet.
Yeah, it's like we haven't embodied it fully yet. I think for me, it goes from like a subtle energetic expression. So I'm like, I have a knowing, it's here. Something's happening. And then when I embody it is when I can speak about it and live it and teach it and know it.
Right. Thank you. That's awesome, because we started, and he agrees with us. Like, we started off with that in the beginning, and I was trying to verbalize that, and I couldn't get that out when I said, hey, do you ever feel like you, and then I trailed off to something, but it's that right there, to embodying it, because it's like, I know, and I've been knowing, like there's just a soul knowing of stuff, but it's like embodying it. Sometimes I've asked my partner, hey, can we, there's something I want to try. I remember, but I don't really know how to. Can we try this together? So it's like, I go through these phases where I know something, like I kind of embody it, but sometimes I can't. So it's like, I want to know what's it going to be like when we fully are standing in that remembering. And maybe it's not like, maybe it won't be instant, but I feel like something totally happen. And I know time is not linear, so it's not like, for me, I felt something happen on the spring equinox. Maybe a week later somebody else felt what I felt, you know what I mean? So I know it's not going to happen all at the same time for everyone, but it's like something's happening, period. Something's happening, like, and the fact that there's this whole movement of women, like body positivity and women speaking up and talking more about compassion. Thank you for bringing that up, because it's so funny that I didn't, because I'm constantly talking about kind. Please be in your heart for whatever reason. I haven't, and that's so huge. That's that's the best part about femininity, is that softness and compassion and nurturing, and you notice when people feel that from you. It's you will know, like you'll know, because people, the way they act around you, what they express towards you, it's not just in a partnership, it's just in general. Like this.
Yeah. He's so cute. I felt that from you, like when you were just so open and we were chatting right off the bat. I just felt so held by your presence, and like I could do or say anything and there would be compassion there. It's so true. It's almost like it opened me further, not having met you or whatever, but I just immediately was like, yeah, this is love and compassion. All my guards are down,
Yay. I mean, you seem like a very busy person, but I would love to talk to you more, because I feel like there's so much more we could about the divine feminine. So if you are interested, let's try to hook up again.
Yeah.
About more, like,
I would love that.
You were talking about in the email, magic, starseeds, this.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. And plus, I want to know more about like your school. Like, if I can even just learn from you in any way, because I don't know where I'm at yet, I'm like, that's the other big thing. It's this rush of sexual energy coming in, but me honoring it, that obviously it's not just about sex. It's our sexual energies, our life force. It is pure magic. It's potential. It's everything. So we can manifest. So I've struggled with finances, and I'm like in this space of prosperity. Like I am calling forth prosperity. I own it. And I can't wait until I'm prosperous, because then I'm just going to bless the fuck out of everybody. Like I want to, you know what I mean? Really twisted view on money, and I was just a big hippie. Money, you know, and I'm like rewriting that and using my sexual energy coming up to bring that into my life, because yes, woman, I want land. Everything you spoke about, like, that's what I want. So I'm so happy to see someone else doing that. It helps me realize it is, I mean, I know it's possible, and I'm really dang good at going after what I get, but like going after what I want. Did I even say that right? But it's nice to, you know what I mean? Like I could read it somewhere, but I didn't know you were gonna even talk about that. So like that's magical for me, and like gives me inspiration.
That just came through. And that's why I loved the Patreon platform, because I can offer these different tiers. So if someone wants to join the mystery school, it's $3 a month. If they want to be on a different tier, maybe it's $9 a month. But it basically, everyone has $3 a month. If they want to commit to studying with someone or resonating with someone, then they can, you know. And the whole foundation for the mystery school right now is about manifestation, because we're creator beings, and we currently, a lot of people have been regurgitating their past in a pattern into their present. And that's one thing that I really was born good at. So a big part of my platform is going to be showing people how that manifestation power. So yeah, it'll be affordable for everyone, and we'll form a collective, and then people can ask questions like, Scarlet, I need help with this specifically. And then I can do a channel specifically, because there's spirits hosting this school. Like they totally came to me and they're like, we touched your shoulder, it's time. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And I'm working like the beings are working through me to serve whoever signs up for this mystery school. They're going to be serving those beings specifically. So the criteria, the curriculum will be tailored to whoever is present and whatever people need that are present. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what comes through.
Yeah, that's like, that sounds really cool. Like it's kind of the same, but definitely not with what I have going on. There's an online course I'll be coming out with, but it's to help people first to detox, and then like show them how the body, the mind, and the spirit, it's all connected, it's all interdependent, and that you can get back into alignment and with your true self, even just by starting with your body, with like food and everything, like your relationship with food and your temple. And then I have those two other aspects, obviously, to help understand the mind and the spirit, create a spiritual practice. But it's gonna be where obviously they'll have access where we can talk anytime, ask questions. Like I didn't want to do something where I create something and then like they download it and then, you know what I mean? Like there's no interaction. Like it's a platform where I can pop in and chat with them. We'll have discussions and stuff like that. And I'm excited to see where that'll go too. So
that's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
I'm like excited for both of us. What the hell?
I know. Well, we're rad.
You know what? Thank you. Just thank you, guys. Thank you, Mother Mary. Like, right now I'm just giving gratitude to everybody that's like been with me and helped me for this to transpire, because yeah, like I've mentioned, I don't really have physical friends, and then, you know, I've got my girlfriends everywhere else, and it's still a small circle, but it's not this doesn't happen every day where I can have a conversation with someone who's got similar dreams and mission. Like I thought that was so exciting when I realized like you do similar work, like communicating messages. I'm like, because it took me a while to realize that's what I do, but aside from that, I don't, you know what I mean? And then some people aren't as authentic and kind of have a lot of their ego in it, or for popularity, and that's to be 100%. That's why I meditated before I even emailed you back, because I wanted to make sure you were authentic. And so when I did, I was like, oh, I like what it feels like. Then I got really excited, and then every time I looked, I loved that photo of you with your eyes and sparkles. I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad, and I'm really happy you reached out. I'm really grateful, Scarlet.
Me too, you girl. I feel a lot of heart love for you.
I don't know how to end this. Oh, so the sound healing, because you got to feed your horses. I need to let him out to pee and everything. And I'm actually bleeding right now. I think I already told you, right, in the email. So I need to just chill out for a minute. But can we talk later on that? Obviously, we could do, maybe you could record yourself when you have time with sound, like just sit in sacred space and channel something with your bowls. And then you can tell me the file.
Okay.
Does that sound okay? And then
I would love to do that.
And then I could sit with your, like, I think that's gonna be so dope. Like, then I'll listen to what you played and then just see what comes forward. I think that's gonna be so fun.
That would be amazing. Yeah. I love that idea.
Yeah. Like, you have no idea. Like, I've like when I was thinking more about my podcast, I was like, man, I could feel like my guides really pushing me that way with sound and music and stuff. And I'm like, oh, like to collaborate with more women using our voices and sound, and so I'm really
so powerful.
You're gonna be the first person.
Yay!
Exciting.
Yeah.
All right, Scarlet, I'm gonna let you go. Thank you so much. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
We like talked about way more than I thought we would. So I mean, I'm grateful, and yeah, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful. Have a beautiful day.
Me too. You too, girl. So much love to you.
Alrighty, take care.
Okay. Bye.
Thank you, beautiful one, for being here. As always, I strongly suggest you listen to this sound healing when you have some time alone, some time to be in a quiet space where you will be uninterrupted. Please do not try to listen to this while driving or operating any kind of machinery. Do this while you can lay down or sit somewhere quietly in peace. I also strongly suggest you wear headphones or earbuds, something of the sort, so that you can catch every nuance, every subtle sound, and let your whole being vibrate with this. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. May you be blessed. You are worthy.
birthright as a sovereign being. You are a magnificent being of sovereignty, of power, of compassion, of love. A deep, deep, expansive love beyond your comprehension. It is all here now for you. It is not outside of you.
Thank you.
You will not find it in the external world. You will find this within you.
Water.
Inside of you.
Thank you, water.
It's within your heart.
For the water flowing through us.
It's within your being.
For the water flowing through Mother Earth.
Within your beingness, it is within
Thank you for the water that comes from the sky to cleanse and rejuvenate. Thank you, fire.
You are worthy.
Thank you for our inner fire.
You are so,
our inner sun,
so worthy.
Our inner power.
Of all that
Thank you for the sun.
And all you are here to be.
Our star
in this
that shines so bright, giving so much life.
You are
everything
worthy.
Here on planet Earth. For the warmth that you give us.
And so it is.
All of us.
And so it
from
is.
Plants,
and
animals,
so it
to
is.
humans, to all beings.
So it is.
All life here on planet Earth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Earth. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your grounding, for your love, for your stability, for your comfort, for your healing, for your safety, for your nurturing. Thank you for giving us such a beautiful place to live. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
𝑘𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚𝑒𝑚 𝘗𝑴𝘪𝑗𝑒𝑚𝑎𝑙𝑎
You are worthy.
𝘓𝘓𝑘𝑢𝑛𝑡𝑎𝑙𝑎
You are worthy.
𝑎shrikunalanaewa esrikam
You are
𝑘𝑢n𝑠𝑖𝑦𝑜
worthy of your birthright as a sovereign being. You are a magnificent being of sovereignty, of power, of compassion, of love, a deep, deep, expansive love beyond your comprehension.
Everybody hi.
It is all here now for you. It is not outside of you. You will not find it in the external world. You will find this within you, inside of you. It's within your heart. It's within your being. Within your beingness. It is within you. You are worthy. You are so worthy of all that is and all you are here to be in this incarnation. You are worthy. And so it is.
Ampal ekinchue amalakine he umai emunai kuntane ekunchue manae we manae unae epina chu afrikume hebrinka tatar herne Fliau nuea, eflina manoea manoea oea oea oea, emanaea tatana emio, migana emiguana emiguana eo, emia eo eo, emino eo eo eo, eo 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 eo, ebria eo.
You are a beautiful being. Remember that. Come into remembrance of your beauty and magnificence. We are the new earth.